Good evening, everyone. We are going to start in 2 to 3 minutes. Let others also join. Okay. Harsh, have you now installed it at your end? Good evening. Like MongoDB is working fine at your end now? Okay, okay, good. Okay, good evening, everyone. I think we should now start because it's already 6-7. So we are going to start with our previous session where we were using delete command and like post command we have seen. Today we are going to implement like put command and delete command. Let's do that also at our end. Okay, then it will be more clear. So just a second, I am going to share my screen. I will just and also put a message in your group. Why your batch is not taking interest in joining the session? Because I can see only this batch has less number of students over there in my previous batches also. So that's not good. I don't find the reason that why students are not joining. If there is any issue, you can let me know about that. So, but that's not good that students are not joining. I have already told you that those students who are joining on a regular basis, they will get the certificate. And I don't think so that eight after 8 to 9 people, there are students who will get the certificate. And on from those 8 to 9 students, also few students are joining regularly. This is not good. Okay, but what's my responsibility actually to remind you these things? Because I want that if you are giving your time over here, then it will give some benefit to you also. So those students who are not taking it seriously will come to know about this when all of you who are joining on regular basis will get your certificate. Okay, so no problem. Just a second. Now we can start. Okay. Wait. Here it is. Let me share my screen. Good. I hope that it is clear to all of you that what we were doing in the yesterday session, we were basically implementing Express with Mongoose. Okay. Why Mongoose? Because it provides schema to our database. As MongoDB is schema less, so we need Mongoose to actually append some structure over it at a particular or a particular structure to our database. So for that, we have seen each and every file over here. Like we have created some models like user.js. Then in this model, we are defining our model that which type of user I want, that it must have a name, which is true required field, email, age, and created at means this is default field. And if you are not going to enter this by default, this function will get called date.now and provide you the latest date accordingly. Okay. Then we have seen about this routes method over here, like user routes.js. What we were doing in user routes.js, we were simply just using this bit of code over here where we are defining that from the requested dot body, you have to fetch all the details in this user and then save it them to database. Okay, like this we were doing over here, and in index.js we were doing our main things like this app.get slash method over here where hello express server will start, and otherwise in this bit of code we were connecting to our mongo sh, okay, or mongodb database locally. So let me just open it. What is the command? It is mongo sh, mongo shells. So now the connection must be there. It is started at our end. Okay. And also one more thing in user routes.js, here we have written our post method. Okay. Means we are going to insert a new user to our collection, which is having name users. Okay. So this is, we have already seen that how we can do that. Now, what we are going to today, we are just going to see that how right now it was like I was posting some data inside it and getting that. But also we can see the get request over there. So for that, I am going to write some code, okay, which will elaborate us the use of get also, that how we can get the data accordingly. Just a second. Yeah. So we are going to start with that today. So give me just a minute and then we are going to start. Okay. So now basically we are going to write a get method over here. Through that I can get all the users in my data. Okay. So for that we have to use this router middleware, which will take the method as get, and it will listen us at a particular endpoint, which is suppose slash user, so that I can get all the values of user. Okay. Same method, the name of my endpoint is this. Now what we have to do, we have to create a asynchronous function which will handle or which will find me all the details of my user using find method. We all are aware of find method also. So let's write it first. Okay, and now request and response over there. This must be a arrow function. And now what we have to do, we have to store it somewhere. So const user, which will find the users in my model. So for that, user dot find. Okay, this is how we are finding the user over here. And in response, I want response must be in JSON format. And whatever this user is storing, just provide me that. Okay, because we have to print all the users over there. So whatever is stored by our user.find method, it it will be printed over here as a response. Okay, how it is clear. So what we are going to do, let me just first start the server. More space index.js over here. Okay, so it is started successfully. Now from our postman, I am going to add 2 to 3 users over there so that we can get it. So what was our endpoint? It was API slash users. In the body section, here we come to this raw part and then select JSON from here. Okay. And what we have to pass, we have to pass basically the name. Okay, so the name must be like, for example, Kishan. After that, uh, we can add the email part over there. Kishan at the rate 123 gmail.com. Okay, and I guess there was one parameter which is age. So age we are also writing as 24. If we are going to send this, so you can see it is showing us that the response is sent it successfully and with the name this, email this, ages, and the ID accordingly of that particular user. So I hope it is clear. Now what we have to do after this, just a second. Yeah. After this, I just want to print one more value like Radha over here and okay, let's send it. So, okay, as you can see, this is also shared. Now let's see if our get method is working fine so that we can get all the list of the users at one place. Okay, so it will also, I guess, yes, you can see over here, see what is happening. We just have used this get method at this particular endpoint. Why this endpoint? Because in index.js, sorry, in user.routes.js, you can see we have write the code for slash users over here. Okay. And it will be called from our use route using API. So that's why we have to invoke API first, then slash users over there. Just a second, it will be more clear. Let me switch it to here. Yes, see, HTTP localhost 9899 where our site is hosted. After that, API slash user and this get method. We have already written the code for our get method that it will provide all the details of user. So you can see Ram we have added yesterday in yesterday session. Okay, so he is there. After that, this Kishan value and this you can say Radha value is already there. So I hope that it is clear to you. And as you can see, it is working fine. Okay, so we can write a code like this also if we want to get all the users over there using this get method. Now, basically, if I want to write, suppose this, we can also do one thing like this ID is given to us, which is by default unique. Okay, you can check them that these are some default IDs which are unique for each document over there. So let's try to write a code where I can search a particular user through this particular ID. Okay, so we are going to do that and let's see that is it possible? Okay, so we are going to write that also. What we have to do? Same thing, router.get, okay, and it will listen to me at a particular endpoint, which is user. Right now, everything is similar to the above get, but also I want that it will take a particular ID of a user and provide me the output accordingly. So for that, I am using this router parameter with ID. This colon, I have already told you that it will parse the value accordingly when you provide it in the URL. Okay, so we are doing that. Now I am going to write a asynchronous function. Okay, what this function will do, it will take my request object, my response object, and as it is a arrow function, so we are going to define it like this, where we are going to maintain try and catch block. Now see what we are going to do inside it. I want to see a specific user with a particular ID. So that's why we are going to store that particular user first. Suppose in this user, I have to write the code or query so that it can find a particular user with the same ID. Okay. So to do this thing, there is a method which is find by ID. Okay. So we are going to use that. Await wait user. And after that, we have to use. uh, Are you able to see this find by ID is actually there, which we are going to use? And it will find it through the requested parameter, which I am sharing in my URL. So for that, I am going to write request dot params dot ID. From that, I want to fetch the ID only. Okay, so that's why I have write this code. If suppose that user is not there, if the user is not there and we have not fetched any value, then they will return me like error or return me a response status. And in response status, I want a 404 status code for the error part. And it also provide me a JSON message over there, which will show me the error part. Okay, like user not found. So basically what we have done, let me just complete it, then I will tell you. User not. Okay, see this bit of section. First of all, we want by this particular route, what was happening, we are getting all the users info. Now I want a particular route so that it can give me a specific ID user detail. Okay, so for that we are going to write this particular route. Now after this, you can see here, I am just using that particular user ID, which will be there in my requested parameter. Okay, that will provide me that particular username to this user constant over here. Now, if the value is not there, means if the user is not there, then it will going to return me an error status like 404 and let me know that user not found with this particular ID. Okay. Otherwise, what will happen? Otherwise, I will get the response. So response, but in JSON format, as you can see, there are multiple attributes. So that's why I'm using response.json. And what is storing my response? This user constant. Okay. So we have provided that. Also, we can handle another errors like here. We are handling that if the user is not there, then provide me the output. Suppose if you have entered invalid ID. So for that, we also want that we can manage a block. Okay, so I am writing it for the catch error part. And from here, what we can basically do, we just provide them response dot status over here. And that must be like anything you can 400 for now. Okay, and it will provide me JSON response in error. Like we can provide something like invalid ID. Okay, hope it is clear that this bit of section is basically used to get a user with a particular ID over there. From where they will find the ID, they are going to search it in the requested parameters from the URL section and let you know about that particular ID. If the ID is there, they will find you the output. Otherwise, the error will be displayed at your end. So let's try to do it. Okay, here is our postman. This is the get method. After this particular user, what I want to see the data for this particular ID user. That's what we can do because this is the ID. So I am going to pass it like this. Okay, so now if I send this, okay, wait, I think I am not. Okay, let's do it one more time. Opening it. Okay, get method at this particular route. This was the ID over here. And let's send it. Oh, it is saying me cannot get slash API slash user. And this ID part over there means through this ID, they are not able to find a particular user. Okay, so what we can do, we can just update our, like, see, here they are not able to find this through this particular ID over here. So for this, we can do one more thing like in our user route index.js. Wait, like where is my files? In my user structure over there, here it is user.js. I can add another field which is like ID. Let's try to do this. Okay, in this ID, the type must be a number. Okay, so I am just defining it and let's try to see that will it work fine or not now. Just a second. Okay, so let me also post an entry with this particular log over here, like this post route over here at this particular endpoint, which is slash users. Okay, and what we have to do in the body section from this raw part, I have to pass a particular format string. Suppose let's enter a new value over there. Name is, suppose, okay, this is JSON format. Yeah. Name is Kashish. Enter. After this, the email for her. Email for Kashish, suppose. 123@gmail.com. Okay. After this, what we have to provide? We have to use, I guess, age and wait, let me just check it from our user.js. Okay, the first one thing is age and other thing is ID. So let's also do that. Age for her, like 19. And then at last, we are providing ID also so that we can use it through this particular ID. If I'm going to send this, Okay, so the entry is being saved over here. Now I just changing it a bit so that there will be multiple value, and changing the ID also that it must be 5. Okay, again sending it. Okay, so with ID 5, the new entry is also there. Now what we are going to do using this get method over there at this particular endpoint, and from here you can see there are these many documents over there with different IDs. It is not in visible form over here. It print is not happening, but you can see this caches is added with a particular ID over here. Now let's try to find it. Suppose through 2. This is how we can do API slash users and then the particular ID. Just a second. Just a second, guys. Can anyone see any error over here? Like this section is highlighted by default when I'm sending this, but it is saying me that bad request. Okay, so we will see this. Just give me a second. AI just a second. Mm, Yes, now let's see that what is the problem over here. So first of all, let's move to the code part. In our user route.js, what we are doing that we are fetching a route router.get at a particular endpoint which is users, and it will asking for some ID from the requested URL. Okay, this is the thing. Then we are using this find by ID, which will check from the requested parameters for this ID parameter over there. If with that ID, if user is not there, then we will get the response as 404 or bad request. Otherwise, we will get, see our response like this. I hope that the code we have written is correct. So now, okay. Now also it is working fine for all the users. Let me just one more time check this. Yes, for all the users, it is working fine. Suppose if I just remove this and send this query, then yes, status code is 200. It is working for all of them. Now, why it is not working for this particular ID value? Let me provide it an ID. Suppose 5, because we have also entered a user with ID 5. No, they are not getting. Okay, let me restart the server. Yes, we are not using node mod. So yeah, now I have restarted it. Again, sending it. Okay, so is something changed? No bad request. It is showing me bad request over here. Let me just try the same thing from different tool, which is Postman. Okay, from here we can also send the queries. So get method we have to send over here, and let me just copy that particular URL. Same tool it is like Postman, just subtype Postman will provide this bad URL problem over there. So for verifying that, I am going to use this. So from here, I am just copying my particular endpoint, which is this. Okay, let's see. And this is the new one. Okay, get request at this particular route and I'm sending it. It is showing me invalid ID. Okay,
Sir,
so
the ID is string, I think.
okay, where I have provided the number part.
Yes, I think so.
Uh, I don't think that it will. Okay, we can try that also. Just a second. Okay, so let's try for that. This user.js, this ID instead of number, we make it as string. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let me restart it. This index.js, it is started. And when I send it now, no, still I am getting this that it is invalid ID. Okay, so
Uh,
yes.
Sir, can I see the code part again for user route?
Yeah, just a second. User routes is here. This was the code. It is finding my ID. The logic is correct. I guess I am missing something over here. Like at this
Uh,
particular route. Yeah.
Sir, there in the user find ID,
Yes.
uh, can you try this request.params.underscore ID so that it will find the particular ID of the users only?
Okay. Request dot params dot
Params dot
underscore
underscore.
ID. Okay. Which is
And
there.
then whatever the user ID was there, like a long string, copy that
Yes.
string and paste in the URL.
Okay. Let's check that also. Yeah. Good suggestion. Okay, let's try that. He was saying that there was by default an ID appended at the user end by MongoDB for each document. So we are going to just check it by that particular document. Okay, so let me just open my Postman again. Wait, this is get request at this particular route. Just we have to change the ID over here. Okay, and from let me just first get the ID part. Okay, from here I am copying this ID for Ram. Okay. Let's try to see this now. Okay. And users is there slash this particular ID. If I know user not found with this ID, it is showing this user is not found. I think that there is some error find by ID. According to me, this is the correct logic to fetch that data.
Yes, this is correct, but I think maybe the array part is making some problem because all the users are stored in an array,
Yes.
not in an object. So can
Okay.
that be
So
a problem maybe?
I don't think so. Let me just a second. Let me also check it from here. Like if I use only this user section over here, it is
This is
providing
no,
me
no.
the elements in this particular array. Okay, for storing, they are using it like this. Okay, so please try to, I am providing you the code. Let
Yes, sir.
also try it at your end. Okay, so that we can rectify it. Okay, just a second. We have changed only in users route.js in today's session. So I am just providing this.
Sir, provide all the files because I don't have that index and user file also because yesterday I
Okay,
haven't
okay.
loaded any.
Okay. So this in model folder, first of all, this user.js is there. Okay.
Okay.
So I am sending it like user.js file. Here it is. Just copy this. This is inside your model folder. Then inside this route folder, there is user routes.js, which I am also sharing. User routes.js over here. Okay, this is it. And In my index.js, I have this. And so that you can get the folder structure, I am also providing you this bit. Okay. So now everyone please try to do it at their end. And also let me just rectify that what the error we are, because for slash users it is working fine, but when we are asking that for a particular ID, then we are not getting that. So like if I provide ID like this, let me just check with not found. Now if I choose IDS to, okay, let me now change in that user mod browse dot parameter section. This ID is there. Let me start my server again. Okay, from here, send it again. Invalid ID it is showing. This thing is providing me that invalid ID is there, means an error is happening at that end. Let me check. Okay, wait. For Vishal, it is coming. Yes, Vishal. So what we have changed in the code part? Hello, Vishal. Am I audible? Uh, Hello, Vishal. Am I audible to you? Any other one who has able to execute it? It means he have executed it. So we have changed something over here. Let's ask him that how he had done it. Hello, Vishal. Are you there? API users and then the ID we have provided. Let me close all of them. Okay, so as you can see, after providing the ID, we are getting the output for it. So why it is not happening at my end? Let me just check that again. A get method at this particular ID, suppose. And if I use this ID now, okay, so now I am also getting it. Basically, what was happening that I have not changed anything. Like I can see there is one thing that when I was using this command or this URL, before that, basically I am using the simple get method, which was providing me all the details. Okay. And after that, if I was doing this, then through Postman, that was not, that request was basically not received. Right now, you can see I am getting the data for RAM only because this is the ID for RAM. Okay. So sometimes these things happen that it will provide us a bit of bad request errors types. Okay, but you can see here now after restarting the server again, it is working fine. So please, every one of you try to execute it. And one thing that in this user routes, I have just removed that particular underscore ID. I am just using the simple ID, still it is working. Okay, Vivek, so just try it at your end. Like everything was correct in the code, just because of some
Yes,
bad
sir.
request, it was not providing us the error. You can see the code is still same and still the request type is same, like we were using it similarly like this, but still we were not getting the output at that time, but now we are getting it. So sometimes these things also happen. Okay, so everyone try to do it. Okay, so how many of you are able to execute it? Okay, Sushmita, Harsh, Vatsal, what about you guys? Are you trying it at your end? Hello guys, am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Trying.
Oh,
I'm trying.
okay, yes, Vivek, I know that you are trying. I want others also. So what about you, Vatsal, Sushmita, and Harsh? Okay, so just I'm giving you 2 minutes to complete it. Then we are going to write the code for the update part. That how to update a. Okay, Sushmita, any error, guys, or any doubt you can ask. Okay, you can also ask me that whatever error you are facing while doing this, and if there is any doubt regarding this. Okay, so Vivek, just let me know when you have done it, okay? So that we can continue with the
Yes, sir. Sir, you
code
can
part.
continue. I will do it.
Okay, okay. So
Yes, sir.
let's start. I, I hope that it is understandable by you that how we have done it. Just a second. Okay, so now let's write the code for our put part where we are going to update the existing data over here. Suppose here the age of RAM is 22. I am going to change it. Okay, and I am going to change the age of RAM to suppose anything like 18, 19, 20 or whatever we want. So let's go to our user routes.js. Here, after this particular get route, now again I am going to write the code for our put method. So router dot put over here so that we can update something. Then we have to append a particular endpoint like users slash ID. So we are going to differentiate it by ID. Like if a user will enter its particular ID, then only we can change the data of that particular user. Okay. Then again, this async function over there, which will handle your request and response object. over there, and it must be a arrow function. So yes, this is done. Now in this try catch section, we will find an entity with the particular field and then try to update its value accordingly. So let's use here find by ID. First of all, we are using find by ID and update method, means find a element by its ID and then update that. So let's store a user which will come through that particular thing, which is await user dot find by ID and update. You can see find by ID and update is there. Okay. And after this, just provide over here, like first of all, find it through request dot params dot ID. Okay. Means find the ID first. After that, access the request dot body section over here, and you want to edit it also, because the motive of put method is so that you can update that. Okay, for that I am entering it like new to be true so that we can enter the data accordingly. And there is one more thing, which is run validator. uh, Okay, so we have to also make it true so that we can change the data and that can be fetched successfully to our end. We have written it. What we have done, this put method is basically used to update a user which is already there in my database. I am accessing that particular user through their IDs. Okay, so that's why we have used this method, which is find by ID and update. Means first of all, it will find that particular user with a particular ID and then going to update any field around there which is there in request that body section. Okay, so from this request.params.id, they will find that particular user ID. In this request.body, they will fetch all the data from there, and accordingly you can change some of that. Okay, so if that is done, so means if the user is found or if the user is not there, then let me throw the error or return a status code. It will return me response.status. And in the response, what we will get? This 404 over there. Otherwise, this JSON, where we will get error. And the error, you all know, that user not found. That was the condition over there. Okay, this is done. After this, if the user is there, you want the output like this response.json and the name of the variable where you are storing all these values. This is done. Also handle the catch section if you are using try over there for the error part, like response.status. For bad request, you can use 400 status code dot JSON and it will let me see the error over there. Whatever we want manually, we can write it like here. Or suppose if you don't want it manually, you can use error.message method over there. Error.message. Okay, here it is. Yes. So simple things, that it is very simple, that what we are doing over here. We have just written this put function over there so that we can update a particular user's info accordingly. Okay. And how we are doing that? We are doing that with this simple function which is there, which is find by ID and update. Okay. Means it is going to fetch the data of ID from our requested URL and going to search the details of that particular user. And then accordingly, whatever field you are changing through Postman or Thunderbolt or Hopscotch, it will update that particular field. If the user will be not found, it will give us an error message like user not found. Otherwise, it will provide us, okay, the user found successfully. So let's see. Let me close this also, packet.json. Yeah. So I am starting my server again first. Server started successfully. Going to new HTTP request, selecting the put method over here. Okay. And I have to provide them the localhost colon 9899 where the port where it is started, then API/users so that it can access the data. And also there we have to provide the ID. Okay, so that's why we have provided the ID of RAM. Okay, and for RAM the age is around 22 to 24. So I will change the age of RAM to 35. Okay, so let's do this, that how we can do that. So in the body section, raw, select this JSON format over here and change it like this, like age to be 35. Okay, what we have done, we have selected it and just a second. Okay, let's try to send it. So are you able to see that the age is changed successfully over here, which is age as 35. Okay, so this is how we can update that. Now, suppose if I want the name to be changed for this particular ID, I want the name to be Shyam. So let's see it. Right now it is Ram over here. So let's see that it will be changed to Shyam or not. Okay, so yes, so our put function is working fine. The put method is working accordingly as per the ID we were using over here. Okay, so hope that it is clear to you that what we have done in this bit of code. We just write the simple code here so that we can update that. I am just sharing my whole user routes.js code over here where we are performing these CRUD operations. Let me check it for Vishal. Okay, good, Vishal. I hope that it is understandable. Okay, so it is, so is it clear to you, Vishal, or any doubts? Okay, good. Others, please also try it, that how we are updating the values inside our database. What we have basically done, we have just using CRUD operation with our mongoose. Okay, CRUD operation means creating a user, reading the data of that particular user, then updating the value. We have performed all these three things over here. Now we can also delete a particular user by its ID. Okay, so all these things are basically dependent on a particular attribute, which is ID, and that is what we are using over here. So we are now going to see it for our ID section, and then this MongoDB part is completed at our end. Okay. Tomorrow I just let you know that how we can use the atlas over there to create a particular link, and it will be same as this code written over here. Just the thing which we have to change is this URL here, mongoose.connect, and we are providing our URL which is for local system, you can say, like which is coming from Mongo SH. But tomorrow I will let you know that how you can create a particular cluster, a particular URL in Atlas so that we can work on that. Okay. Yes. So let's try to code for delete section also, because we have already done it for get, post and put. So why not delete? We can also write the code for it. Just the logic will be same, that we are going to find something with ID and then going to delete it. Okay. If the user with that ID will not there, then they will throw us an error that user not found. Otherwise, they will print us the response that, okay, user deleted successfully or something like that. Okay. Okay, so let's write the code now over here. Delete a user. I hope that it is clear to you guys. Router.delete, because we are going to use now the delete method. So where it will work? It will work for slash users slash particular ID over there. Okay. And then same thing, that going to write a async function for this. And inside this function, it will take two argument, request and response. Okay. And here we have to initialize our try catch section. In this try part, what we are going to do? We are going to provide const user equal to, we will store the ID coming from that particular user. Take 1 minute. Okay, so let's write the code. Sorry for the interruption. So const user equals to, first of all, we have to find that particular user. So we are going to use find by ID method. But now you can see find by ID and then delete it also. So I am using that built-in function over here. And from where it will find that particular ID, it will find it from requested parameters, and from there the ID section over there. Hope it is clear. Simple bit. Check that if user is not there, then it will provide you or return you a response dot status as 404 with an error message also we can write. Okay, where we can write it like JSON error, which is user not found. Suppose something like that, user not found. Here, after this, what we will do? If the user is successfully deleted, then just let me know about it by a message over here, like message, and which will have a message like user deleted successfully. Fully. Okay. Then we can do one thing also, that we can handle it by our catch block. If any error or any invalid ID we have given them, then they can provide us that particular error. Okay, so here I am going to write it like response.status, and in it I will use the status code at 400, and in message format I want it to be a error message as invalid ID. Okay, so here it is. What we have done, we have written a code for deleting something. Okay, like router.delete at a particular endpoint, which is slash user slash ID. This ID is using this semicolon as prefix. This colon as prefix means
Yeah.
that we have
Hi.
just a second. Okay. So I was saying that we are going to delete this particular end user over here if that will be found. Okay. And if that will be found and deleted successfully, then let me just give the response that user deleted successfully. Otherwise, throw me the error like invalid ID is there. So let's check it. Let me start the server again. I guess at that time I have not started it properly. Okay. So now my server is started. We will move to our, let me close it and then let me reopen it. Okay. First of all, we have to select from here this delete query. Then this particular endpoint, which has now the ID for RAM. Okay. So let's try to delete it and see what we are getting. It is providing me the message. Yes, you can see that the user deleted successfully. Okay. So means that, okay, you have deleted the user successfully this with this particular ID. So if for this ID, the user is deleted, and if I put the get request for this user, then let's see what we will get. Okay. Because this user is already deleted, as you can see over here. So we will not get this get data for this particular user. So you can see we are getting it like error that the user with this ID not found. Why not found? Because you have already deleted it. Suppose if I search all the users over here, and after that I am selecting it for Radha, and let's check that now every route is working fine or not. If I send it, okay, it is working fine for Radha also. You can see for Radha, we can do anything. I can changed it accordingly from going into my body section from here this raw and selected it as JSON format. Now suppose for Radha, I want this email to be changed. So let's write that. Okay. So for Radha right now the email is radha@123. So I am changing it. Email changed one to at the gmail.com. If I am sending it, are you able to see that email is changed successfully? Now for same user, if I want to delete all the track from here, we can use this delete operator and send it. You can see message user is deleted. If I going to get the access for Radha now, you can see we are not going to see the user over here. So this is how you can perform the CRUD operation. Huh. So this is how you are going to use the CRUD operation with your mongoose. Basically, this is what we have to see when you are going to implement now these things in your project, then it will be clear to you. Okay, very good, Vishal. And good, Vivek. Okay, so today Vishal has executed each and every code. Good, Vishal. And also Vivek. But yes. So let me just now finally share one last time this user routes code over there in your part. Okay, this is it. I hope that it will be clear to you that what we have done over here. Okay, so just let me know about this in the output. Vishal has executed it. Vivek is executing. And what about you, Sushmita and Harsh? Guys, if you are facing any problem, then just open your or share your screen and let me know. I will make sure that you can also execute these codes because I can't see the response from your end. And if you are joining on regular basis, then I want that you guys also share the code. Okay. So if there is any problem, then just share your screen and let me know so that I can help. Otherwise, I will not able to provide or not able to help you. Okay. So that's why I am asking again and again. because the motive of the sessions are that everything must be clear to those who are joining on regular basis. For those students who are joining once a week, I can't take the responsibility for them. But if I know that this particular student is joining regular session, so I want that he or she will perform well. Okay, let me check it for Vivek also. Just a minute. Okay, great, Vivek. Good. Yes. So Vivek and Vishal, I think that it is clear to you that what we have done in last two sessions with this Mongoose library. So now basically I am going to ask few questions and you guys have to answer them. Okay. And I want the active response from Sushmita and Harsh also. Okay. So first of all, what is Mongoose? Just let me know about that. In the chat box, you can provide the response. Like, what is Mongoose?
It is an library from MongoDB, like ODM Object Data Modeling Library, that
Yes.
allow us to make the calls to MongoDB, all the CRUD operations.
Yes. Okay. Good, Vivek. Yes, Vishal, you are right. But basically, I was asking Mongoose, not MongoDB. MongoDB is a library. Okay. It helps you to connect with your database. Okay. And performs some specific queries over there. And also, Mongoose is high level as compared to Mongo client, which we were also used in the previous session to connect to the local system. So, Mongoose is a better way to do that. Now, after Mongoose, my second question is that by default, MongoDB is structured less database or structured database. MongoDB is structured less or structure based.
Like a schema that on the data we use to store is unstructured, but maybe the question about you is that MongoDB is structured or unstructured, so it is structured, I guess.
Okay, so by default, the MongoDB is structure less means, or you can say flexible or schema less. And to provide the schema, to provide a particular blueprint of a model, we use Mongoose over there so that it can have a particular structure over there. Now, what does it mean by structure or schema, or you can say flexible thing? That in MySQL, if we were not having a particular column, then we can't add the value in that particular column. Okay, it will throw us an error immediately. But in MongoDB, you have seen that if you are defining a document, then each document may have different fields in their particular document. Okay, so to overcome this solution, like suppose here we have created our user model. So what was the motive of this user model? That every user must have all the similar entities over here. Okay, like just a second, let me open my user.js. So this is what schema is all about. Like here you are providing them the structure that for a particular user, you can enter the name which is required. You can enter the email for them which is required, and then age and ID according to that particular user. So this is how you are defining the particular structure over there. Now we have seen that how we can use all these files to perform CRUD operation using Express in our Mongoose system. Okay, like everything we can cross check from here, like show databases you can do. Okay, and you can use the database name which we were using. what database we were using. I guess testdb we were using. So let's go to user.index.js. Yes, testdb was our database. So how we can navigate inside it? Using test underscore db. Okay. Now show the collections over there. So users is there and user model is there. So basically everything we have defined in our users collection. For cross-checking again, you can also use which platform? This MongoDB Compass. Okay. And in this MongoDB Compass, let it open. First of all, we have to connect. Now, if I go to my test.db, you can see test.db is here. If I go to this users collection over here, these much entries are there. You can see an object like name Kishan value is there, Kashish is there, and the different Kashish, like other Kashish with the wrong name is there also. Okay. By default, MongoDB append the object ID to each document. Okay. So you have to remind this that all these ID are by default added by MongoDB itself. Hope it is clear. Then one more thing that from this graphical user interface, Compass is basically your localhost tool, which is used as graphical user interface from where you can do anything you want. Like you can update the data, delete a particular data for someone, okay, find specific value. Suppose I want to get the data only for user having name as Kishan. Okay, so like this, if I enter this find button now, you can see only the document is shown for me is about Kishan. Okay, hope it is clear that how we are doing it. Yes, so basically these are the things which we are doing. Okay, great. It's good that it is clear. Now, okay. Now, hello Sushmita, hello Harsh, are you there? Just say yes or no in the chat box. So Harsh, is it clear to you also? Okay. So are you guys getting that what we are covering, what is going on? And otherwise, if there is any doubt, guys, you can ask that. Okay. It is good if it is clear to you. But suppose if it's not clear, then you can also ask. Okay, that's great. Now in tomorrow session, we are going to see more about Atlas. Okay. So just give me a minute. Let me just open Atlas also, that what is Atlas. Let me give an idea about that. Then we are going to wrap the session. So just for 5 to 10 minutes, we can continue. So let me do that. Okay, MongoDB Atlas. Okay, I'm signing up with Google. I guess my internet connection is a bit slow. It's loading. Just a second. So this is like the interface for your MongoDB Atlas. Let me just give you a small idea about them, that what are this. First of all, this top bar is the organization name. where means if you are creating at a project at a big level and there are multiple databases for that. Okay, so for that you can provide them the organization name. Right now all the projects over there and all the databases for me are inside this vansh organization. After this, from here you can select a particular database. Like for me there are multiple databases, but from here we can search for a particular database if there are some built-in database at your end. Okay, then what we can do, we can create some new cluster over there. Like here you can see the cluster is there for global connect, which I have already created at my end. And if I want to view all the cluster, inside cluster there are collections. Okay, so basically cluster, when we talk about this cluster has all the databases for you. And MongoDB Atlas stores all the data inside this cluster. That's why it is a cloud service. That's why it saves your memory. And this is how it is different from Compass. When we host a particular cluster, inside that cluster, our data is stored in cloud storage. Okay. So that's why we use MongoDB Atlas for the big projects. Now from here, we can see all the cluster over here at my end. So you can see that I have created a cluster having name project 0, authentication system, demo, global connect, GNCIPL, learn with my name, AI slide builder, and etc. So this is how we can create some clusters at our end. In tomorrow's session, we are going to see that how to create a cluster, okay, how to just use it and other things over there, how to create a URL string at our end. Everything we are going to see in today's tomorrow session. Okay. Also, we can see over here. Let me just see that Atlas search is there, migration, quick start. These are basic things. Database accesses, network access. From this network access, we actually define that at which particular IP address I want my, you can say, site or this database data to be fetched. Like this 0.0.0.0/0 means that you want it to be public. This IP address is public IP address, and anyone from anywhere can fetch the data for your particular project. Okay. And we do it if we want to fetch it from different, you can say, platforms and from any IP addresses. For that, we use this section. Then also cluster is already there. We can create a cluster. From here, if I go to this create, it will ask me for creating a cluster, which is a free one. Like here, you can see the free cluster over there at your end. Okay. Then the name, by default name of your cluster. After that, you have to select the provider like AWS, Google Cloud, Azure. For us, we will start with AWS. Then it will select for a region. I will let you know about this in tomorrow's session also. But right now, just giving an idea about it, that how it looks like. This region is basically means that the nearest, you can say, region in India where this cluster has been created, or they are providing you the opportunity to freely host your cluster over there. Okay. Then if you start with this create deployment over there, it will start create a deployment at your end and ask few things over there. So we are going to cover each and everything. Okay. So don't worry about that. If I create a new project at my hand, suppose for tomorrow, I am creating a project like this. We can create a project. So first of all, they will ask that name your project. So we can give any name, like for your batch, I can give it as MongoDB tutorial. Okay. Then it is asking me, which is add some text, which is key and values, but we don't want to add it. So I will move to the next. Then it is providing me that give your member access permission, like who have the access for this project. So I am just providing it the project owner with my mail over here. Now create the project. So the project will start. Now you can see in vansh organization, there is new project, which is MongoDB tutorial. Now, if you want to create a cluster, go here. Okay. You can access the free one from here. From here, I am going to select the free one over here. AWS, everything, just create deployment. Okay. Now, these are some things like user password, username and password. These things you have to copy at your end, and you can also change the password at your end. Suppose if I change it like vansh@2200. Okay. Just make sure that you have stored that with you, and you can copy them also. Now you can create database user. By this, you are just going to create a database user. Now they will ask you to choose a connection method. So for us, we are going to use this drivers tool over here. We will go to this driver tool. Okay. Now you can see my full-fledged URL is generated at this end. Okay. So just copy this. This is the URL which basically you have to change in VS Code. Like here mongoose.connect, and then we were using this URL. Instead of this URL, just change the URL which we have copied over from here there. Okay. So this is how you can create it. Now done. And you can see that a cluster is created with a particular connection string. From here, you can get that connection string. Like this is the connection string. Okay. And whenever you are going to push something, now it will be seen over here at your end in this project. So this is how we can do that. So I will let you know more about this in tomorrow session. Okay. Going to create one more project, going to create one more string over there. Okay. Because the strength is very less today. So I will let you know about this also in tomorrow session first, and then just let you know that how to append this and how to create something. Everything is clear. So I guess that we are good to wrap the session today. So if there is no doubt, then you guys can leave the session. Otherwise, you can ask the doubt. Okay. Thank you, Vishal. What about others? Any doubt, guys?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Vivek. Thank you, Harsh and Sushmita. Okay, good. So just try to revise these concepts at your end also. Okay, guys. So now you can also leave the session. Any doubts, Sushmita?